There's a moment most guys don't notice until it's already gone. The conversation was flowing. She was laughing, asking questions, genuinely engaged. And then somewhere in the middle of it all, something changed. She didn't walk away. She didn't say anything different. But her energy shifted, quietly, almost invisibly. And by the end, you could feel the distance even though nothing obvious had happened. Most guys replay that moment and assume they said the wrong thing. But usually, the real answer is simpler and harder to hear. They said too much. Nobody really talks about this part. When a man is around a woman he likes, something almost automatic kicks in. He starts filling the silence. He explains where he works and why he chose it. He talks about his goals, his past, his opinions on things she didn't even ask about. He's not trying to overwhelm her. He's trying to matter to her. But what he doesn't see is that the more he tries to prove himself, the less she finds herself wondering about him. And when there's nothing left to wonder about, there's very little left to feel drawn to. Attraction, at its core, runs on curiosity. It's the quiet pull of wanting to know more. And you simply cannot manufacture that feeling in someone if you've already handed them the full picture in the first hour. Think about the last time something genuinely caught your attention. A film, a story, a person you couldn't stop thinking about after. It probably didn't hook you by laying everything out immediately. It gave you just enough to lean in. Then it held something back. That space between what you know and what you don't, that's where real interest lives. That's the gap that keeps people coming back. The same dynamic plays out between two people. When you answer every question in full detail, when you volunteer information before she even asks, when you rush to fill every quiet moment with more words, you're collapsing that gap. You're closing the distance before she ever had the chance to feel it pulling her in. And this isn't about being cold or deliberately distant. It's not about staying silent and mistaking that for confidence. It's about something much simpler. Stopping treating the conversation like an audition. Stopping the quiet, anxious effort to convince her of who you are, and instead letting her slowly discover it on her own terms. There's a particular kind of ease that comes from a man who doesn't feel the need to explain himself. It's not arrogance, it's not performance, it's just calm. He talks about some things and leaves others unspoken. He laughs at a question instead of rushing to fill it with an answer. He's present, but he's not poured out. And somehow, without trying, that creates a version of him in her mind that's more compelling than anything he could have said directly. The men who naturally attract the most curiosity are often the ones sharing the least in those early moments, not because they're strategically withholding, but because they genuinely don't feel the pressure to prove anything. That unbothered, unhurried energy is what actually does the work, quietly, underneath the surface of the conversation. Because here's the part most people skip over. Attraction isn't built through information, it's built through feeling. And the feeling you want to leave someone with isn't, I know everything about him now. It's something softer and more persistent than that. It's, I want to know more. So the next time you're in a conversation and you feel that familiar pull, the urge to overshare, to explain yourself, to fill the pause before it gets uncomfortable, just notice it. Let the moment breathe for a second. Say a little less than you think you need to, not as a calculated move, but as a quiet reminder to yourself that you don't have to hand yourself over all at once to be worth someone's attention. The right person will stay curious. They'll ask again. They'll think about you later. And the ones who don't, they were probably never really in it to begin with. They were just waiting to feel something, and you handed them a summary instead of a story. Less has always said more. You just have to be comfortable enough with yourself to let that be true.